A poet describes a river as a vessel of my grandmother's tears. Another describes it as a silver ribbon on a postcard. Both are poems, but they reveal two vastly different ways of seeing the world. When we compare First Nations Australian poetry with contemporary Western verse, we see how language is a garment that fits the shape of the culture wearing it. For many Indigenous poets like Ujuru Nunukul, country isn't just a backdrop. It's a living, breathing entity that holds memory and law. The land speaks, nurtures, and even bleeds. This is a stark contrast to much Western poetry, where nature is often treated as a beautiful scene or a simple reflection of the poet's own mood. This difference extends to history and identity. Indigenous poetry often carries the voice of a collective, focusing on survival, the stolen generations, and the resilience of the world's oldest living culture. The poetic eye is built from ancestry and place, with allusions to Dreamtime stories and local flora. Contemporary Western voices, however, often explore an individual's place in a globalized, digital world, focusing on personal family history rather than an ancestral collective memory. This makes Indigenous poetry a powerful form of rhetorical resistance, using the colonizer's language to deconstruct and challenge colonial history. It's not just a school subject. Poets like Ali Cobby Eckermann use verse to witness past wrongs and demand future justice. So, when you read a poem, ask whose story is being told. Listen for the deep, sacred connection to country or the reflective tone of personal experience. One poem might carry the echoes of an ancient land, another the whispers of the digital age. Both reveal that poetry is a live wire, connecting us to the vast, shifting tapestry of human experience.